Hi there, I'm Caleb Westbrook, and I will be teaching English 11 this year. This is my second year teaching English 11 at Dwight Global. In addition to teaching English 11, I help out with learning support, and I'm also teaching a brand new course, AP Seminar. I've actually been teaching since 2016. I began teaching in El Salvador in Central America, which is where I met my wife. And I actually moved back to Kansas City, where I invited my wife to the United States as part of the immigration process. So I'm very familiar with all of that. And then we just recently moved back to Guatemala, which you can see in the background. I'm standing on the terrace of my house right now. So we're closer to her family, and we're excited to live in sort of a multicultural home and cultivate that with our two kids. And I would say that having this background also influences the way that I approach English class and literature. So this year we'll have 3 units, and the first one we'll be reading more of a traditional novel, In the Time of the Butterflies, which actually takes place in the Dominican Republic during the time of the dictator Rafael Trujillo. And so it's a historical based novel. It is fiction, but historical fiction based on true events and true people who lived. And I think that's an important part of the way we approach literature. Multiple perspectives, people, outside of maybe the traditional English canon. Not that there's not room for Shakespeare and the Scarlet Letter and all of those great classics, but also being able to approach literature from different views, different perspectives. And I think that really influences the way that I want to approach this class. In addition to In the Time of the Butterflies, our next unit will actually be reading a couple of graphic novels. American Born Chinese is actually also a new series on Disney Plus, so you definitely should check it out. I haven't seen it yet, but hopefully I'll be seeing it soon. It's a great graphic novel, a lot of ideas to discuss. We'll also be reading a graphic novel memoir called Hey Kiddo. And then in our last trimester, we'll be reading a series of short dystopian stories. Dystopia about sort of a speculative future in which something that's currently happening gets way worse, right? Thinking like stories like Hunger Games. But along the way, we'll be practicing vocabulary, grammar, writing, creative writing, the research-based writing, so all kinds of different forms, and hopefully having just really good discussion and getting to learn more about your lives and how all of our lives intersect with these important real-world issues and the things that we read in the books that we're reading in class, and just practicing how we approach any kind of text in a meaningful, critical way. And that's not just some academic practice, but actually seeing real world practical ways in which these things intersect with our lives. So I really look forward to this with you. I think the most important way that you can be successful in this class is to make attendance a priority. Most of the time when I see students falling behind, they're usually not attending class regularly. And so they're almost having to do the double the work by going back and watching class recordings, reaching out to the teacher, those kinds of things. I know things came up, and obviously we have the type of school that we have in order to facilitate all kinds of schedules, but as best as you can, try to be engaged in the classes each week. And then the other important thing is just communication, self-advocacy. If you have an issue, or if there's any way that I can help, make sure that you reach out. As a teacher, I don't always know what I don't know. So if you're not communicating with me, I don't necessarily know that there's ever a problem, okay? So please make sure that you communicate well. And I really look forward to getting to know you and kind of going on this literary journey this year together.